hopping away.
Subscribe today, Tommy, if you love movies.
Hey, look at boobies! I like movies. Hey, Cinema Gulp, where are ya? Help!
Hey, take it easy.
But I lost Cinema Gulp.
Stay calm. Just go to YouTube to subscribe and hit the bell for all the latest videos.
Hey, we're Cinema Gulp and we drink your cinema.
Thanks, Joe. Now I can subscribe.
And subscribing is half the battle.
That's what I'm talking. Do it up again! You know what? You don't have an answer for that, do you? You, man. I'm sorry.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow.
Hey, remember when?
Is this thing up? Hello, cinema drunks to our humble abode. This is going to be a Superman show. It's not a typical hump day happy hour. We are sans Scotty. We are sans Joanne. We are lucky to have Kat from the Phantasmagorium show. Thank you for being here. We also have resident gamer Mark, who's coming on as soon as he can. But we appreciate, so far we got some good reception in our poll. Simple poll. What'd you think of Superman? Looks pretty mixed, Kat, which is what I think a lot of the movie is for a lot of people. This is a rare occasion where I haven't talked to Kat or Mark or really anybody except the people I saw it with about what they think about this movie. I don't want to call it a film. It's a movie. There's a difference. But before we get into actual discussions of what we thought of the film, how about we take like a quick look at how it's doing? Because I didn't think it was doing particularly amazing. And then yesterday it sort of had this great day. I don't know if you heard about that, Kat, but it had like a wonderful Tuesday. You know, that has in California. I don't know if that's worldwide or nationwide. I'm sure it is, but it's like bargain Tuesdays where you get like half off popcorn, half off soda, half off candy. So maybe that has something to do with it, but it had a wonderful Tuesday, but we'll get to that. So let's see here. So box office. I wish I could make that a little bit bigger, but let's see if I can. Oh, all right, there we go. So Superman's still number one, 17 million yesterday at Tuesday. It's pretty good. That's a big step up. I think it was 6 million on Monday, but Monday is not really a movie day for a lot of people. So it's at 155 million right now. It's going to dominate this weekend because there's nothing coming out. I know what you did last summer. I'm guessing 20 million.
Yeah,
20 maybe. Yeah, 20. And then Eddington comes out. That's a smaller movie. Probably not going to do super well. Hey, Mark.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, Mark here is here. Hello. I was just telling the audience, Mark, that I don't know what you think of this movie, and I don't know what Kat thinks. So this is going to be great. But we're just going over box office right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh-oh, where'd the host go?
The host decided to bail on the show.
He's like, this movie's so bad, I'm out of here.
You know what? I didn't know my computer could do that. All I did was I have a Mighty Mouse or a Magic Mouse, and I just spun it left, and it took me to a different tab. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, that was fun. That was nice. I was like, shit, are they? I had a lot of emotions going through myself right then and there. I'm like, are they still on? What's happening? Is
No,
the
I
stream
think
still
you
going?
probably did like one of those mouse gestures or Mac gestures.
Yeah, it's just something you learn something new every day when you use a Mac. But anyway, so I want to let's see here. I want to make it smaller. Superman worldwide. I didn't know this, but I guess Superman is not a big draw overseas because it's not doing very well, which is going to keep it from doing very well, I think.
It's at 314 as of today.
Yeah. This is yesterday's total, or this is Monday's totals, I think. But
yeah,
95 million worldwide, like not doing shit in China. Well, I guess that's not super surprising, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I guess the DC clan have already said, yep, we're good. There's another one coming. Like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that performance is it doesn't apply to all Superman movies because there's past ones that did actually do well overseas, and I think this one might be like kind of like Superman Returns, where like there's certain films that weren't received as well overseas, and then some that were.
Yeah, I would say that Superman: The Quest for Peace was probably not big in Russia.
Or just universally.
Considering it's about disarming Russians' nuclear weapons program, but who knows? But yeah, Superman's doing fine. But I really,
actually, as of today, it's doing better internationally than domestic. It's got 159.4 internationally and 155 domestic.
Really? Okay. Why do typically Box Office Mojo should have?
Maybe they haven't updated yet because
I don't think they have.
The numbers in IMDb have updated to today.
Okay. Well, normally they update pretty quick on Mojo, so that's kind of weird. But well, that's good. I mean, we'll get into it. Is it good? Do we care that it's making money? Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to talk about that one. General reception. This is a weird one because it's like, I guess people think it's fun. I don't know what normies are going to think of it because there's so much going on in it and it's all thrown at you like, just mounds of mud in your face. But let's get into non-spoilery stuff if you guys want. I didn't really select any clips because DC and Warner Brothers suck on YouTube. They kind of crush you if you use their shit. But let's start with Kat because what do you think of, non-spoilery, we'll go for like 10 minutes and then we'll jump into spoilers.
It kind of felt like if you're reading a trade paperback, except you start like in the middle where all the character relationships are established because there's no character development in the story. Doesn't feel like any of the characters go on a journey. Don't really learn much else about them. I feel that Superman's almost an inconsequential character in his own movie. And it's overstuffed with all sorts of stuff going on that they're trying to throw all this kind of stuff. And I don't think James Gunn's brand of humor works nearly as well with Superman as it did for the Suicide Squad. And there's just certain goofy things in there that were just too over the top that I just kept breaking my immersion at times. But I did think David Cornsweet was still good as Superman.
Okay, now here's the moment of truth because Mark was going, hey, did you see Superman? Yeah. And then I saw it and I go, hey, I got out of Superman. He's like, what'd you think? I just gave him like a few words. And then he goes, I don't know if I want to see it. And then the other day he's like, all right, I'm going to see what this is about. And then the next thing I hear from Mark is, are you guys going to talk about Superman? Can I be, so what did you think, dude?
Well, very similar, almost word for word what Kat's thinking. And then at the same time, it's like, this is a very polarizing film because like across the board, because I will admit there are some parts that I liked, a lot of parts I didn't, and just everything in between. And yeah, it really is just all over the place. I mean, as far as like the casting overall, good, right? Solid. Like I do think David does make for a good Superman, my recent favorite will still be Henry Cavill. I kind of wish he had gotten some more chances to play Superman than he did, or at least in proper sequels, but here we are. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this film all over the place, and any kind of online discourse I've already peeked at, it's very polarizing. I see everything from like totally hate it, totally love it, and just every possible thing in between, down to overall film, scenes, characters, you name it. I mean, I think this is one of those rare times where it really does come down to the individual, whether you like it or not, right? And you got to see it for yourself if there's any interest. But at the same time, I'm in the camp of, if you choose not to see it, I don't think you're missing out either.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not the world's biggest Superman comic or movie fan. I think 78 Donner and the Donner cut Superman 2 are still the best Superman movies, personally. I know that's easy to say. Everybody says that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve's still the best Superman, and Clark Kent. One thing missing from this movie, and this is not a spoiler, it's just a thing. It's like there's hardly any Clark Kent, and that was the problem with Man of Steel, is there was no Clark Kent. You know, he didn't even show up to the Daily Planet till the last 2 seconds of the movie. But I agree with you that Corn Sweat was great. But to me, he felt more like Superboy, and I'm not making a joke. A little bit. I mean, he's supposed to be 3 years in, but he's still sort of unsure of himself and kind of dopey. He's very thoughtful and nice and kind and bright and inspiring, but he also has like this childish mannerism about him, from, where's the dog, Luther, where's the dog? Like he just goes off, he flies off the handles so many times. And that's not a bad thing. It's almost like, I think they should have started, it shouldn't have been an origin story, but it should have been maybe right when he shows up to Metropolis. And you don't have to show the backstory and all that, but maybe year 1 instead of year 3, because he still feels like he's figuring stuff out and he doesn't quite have a grasp on what he's doing a lot of the movie. But I don't want to go into spoilers too much. I love this cast. Hey, Cookie. I love this cast so much. I think everybody is perfectly cast. I think everybody did the best they could with the material that they had. Specifically, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I think she's going to go down as one of the best Lois Lanes. But this movie is fucking nuts. Like, most of the time I was laughing was not at the recycled James Gunn humor. It was at like, what the fuck am I looking at right now on screen? So, I don't know, but let's go around and give it a rating so that if people haven't seen it yet, we can at least score it ahead of time, and then we'll just break down the movie. Kat, what would you give this after just one viewing?
I've actually got dragged into seeing it 3 times already with different friends. Unfortunately, I got the Regal card, so I didn't have to pay for it.
Luckily, it's not very long.
Yeah, it's short. I would give it like 3 out of 5.
Oh, 3 out of 5. Okay. Mark, I go out of 10, but you guys
6 out of 10 then.
Yeah, you guys do you.
Oh goodness. I think because it's just so polarizing on so many ways, I think I'm gonna go 5, just straight down the middle, because there's too many parts that are just tugging against each other for me in this film. Where on one hand, if I were to pick specific stuff, it would have a higher score. If I focus on other things, it lowers the score. So I'm just gonna 5. It is.
Yeah, 5 for me too out of 10. It was just baffling, some of the decisions made in this movie, specifically to start a cinematic universe. Like, it's just like, okay, we're throwing you into Act 3 in the 5th movie of a franchise, but it's the first one. But yet it was kind of fun and like lighthearted and goofy. So I was like, I'm always on board for that on a Thursday night, just lighthearted goofiness, If I had some Percocet, I would have been laughing even more, But 5 out of 10 for me, because it's pretty bad, but it's just like enjoyably bad. I don't know. But let's catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll jump into our spoiler discussion. Let's start at the top here. Bumpmaster 1, what's up, dude? Super Gulp. Yes. Well, we used to do a Super Gulp show ranking Marvel movies. Super Big Gulp, even better. It was a love letter to Silver Age DC with an expectation that the audience had foreknowledge. Yeah, well, we'll see. Yo, Gulp in chat. It was episodic. Yes. It definitely was episodic. It felt like you're jumping into season 3 of the Superman animated series right in the middle of an episode. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. 78, the GOAT. Couldn't have said it better myself. Hey, old man Bird. Agree with Scotty and Ben, but I know Dear Cat is not as excited. Excited for what? I wasn't that excited.
Well, Scotty and I reviewed it last week, and he was in the chat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. What else do we have? Third best Superman movie? Oh, see, I don't know. I got a tiny little soft spot for Returns because
Returns is my favorite one.
Yeah, Returns is really beautiful to look at. I love the color. I love the contrast and the depth of it. I found myself going like, this is a Superman movie if Superman became like a meditation on existence and loneliness and regret. And that was good. That was cool, but yeah, I think I might like that a little more than this, even though, as they say, Superman doesn't punch anyone in that movie. And that's fine. But
interesting because like
punches someone, he's going to kill them unless they're, from somewhere else. The slinging slasher. Return to the. Okay, well, all right, guys.
Thanks, old man Bird.
Okay, we're into spoiler territory now. I just want to start out by saying I think Millie Alcott, I'm starting at the end. I think that movie is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people are making fun of it, and they might be right. I'm fine if it's a hot mess of a movie. If she's playing Supergirl as kind of a drunk, and it's more like a Hancock movie, I'm down. I'm totally down for that because I never read anything Supergirl, so I don't have any stake in the game. I would love to see like a drunken Supergirl having to find her way and then become Supergirl.
I don't get the logic in that's the image he wants to put in people's heads about Supergirl right up front.
It's weird. Well, it's James Gunn, man. James Gunn is comedy first, story second,
Well, comedy first, spectacle second, and story and character.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. And then, and he used to write really good characters.
He did.
The Guardians movies, all those characters are fleshed out and fantastic. But in this movie, you don't even know what character you're supposed to be rooting for. Well, I mean, you're supposed to be rooting for, but you don't really know why, except the movie tells you. But
do you both think he's out of his element here? Because he did originally not want to do Superman at all.
He shouldn't have done Superman.
Yeah,
I have a laundry list of directors that should have done a Superman movie. Yeah.
Well, so you look at the other movies he announced he wanted to do, like other DC versions of Guardians or whatever. And it's like, then why do you want to do Superman? Give this to somebody else, like, please.
Ego. He wanted to be the first one out of the gate to do a movie. Hey, look at me! I started this universe. Yeah, but did you though? Like, this doesn't feel like the start of anything.
Or is it the Suicide Squad still canon to this universe?
I don't know. I know Peacemaker is because Peacemaker's in the fucking movie.
But apparently not the first season of Peacemaker because Jason Momoa's Aquaman's in that apparently, and so that's not canon anymore.
I think this Peacemaker season 2, he's gonna jump to another fucking universe or whatever the fuck, So yeah, I guess it's just that's the kind of thing we're getting right out of the gate is pocket universes. We can't just have Superman showing up in Metropolis. Billionaire tycoon Lex Luthor doesn't like him, and then a movie happens, and then later you get the Justice Crew or whatever the fuck, who I enjoyed very much in this movie. They just shouldn't have been in this movie, But yeah, sorry, I jumped all the way to the end because the biggest lasting impression on me in this movie was Supergirl and the Iggy Pop song, Punk Rocker, at the end. Because I was like, I love this song. They just got me. They just got me at the end of it, even though that does not belong in the Superman movie. But we'll start from the beginning. So, Mark, when you paint me a picture. So this movie starts, if you remember, like right off the bat, all you see is text, right? And you're like, okay, what the
fuck? All in multiples of 3. 3.
Fucking James Gunn.
But yes, we get introduced to what's going to be the start of the story via some sentences, and then you see Superman fall from the sky into the snow, all beat up. So, I mean, a lot of people said that that actually is kind of more of a traditional comic book start, or at least a lot of comics have started that way before. So, again, that's one of those things in this movie that's polarizing. Love it or hate it. It seems like that applies to so much within this film, right? Depending on the type of fan or audience member you are. And then, of course, we also get introduced immediately to Krypto because he whistles for him, you know, because apparently, you know, he's dog sitting him in the Fortress of Solitude. So here comes the dog. And Ben, I'd be curious to what you think of it as, you know, having been a previous dog owner, because, you know, he's all crazy and he's jumping on Superman and, you know, they made him quite the rowdy. I don't know how he's supposed to be, but this one's very a rowdy, you know, untrained version of Krypto. And, you know, again, people seem to either love him or hate him. Some people just hate the fact that he's even there. They hate the fact that he's overused. They hate the fact that he's nothing but a gag goblin and he's just constantly interrupts any emotional scene. The fact that he disrespects Superman. The fact that he's constantly just playfully attacking Superman. I mean, it's just...
He's a dog, you know, that's what dogs do. Like, he's at the same level as Superman. So he sees him just as another Kryptonian, you know, like and what I thought of the scene was I knew way in advance I was going to love Krypto because there's no situation in a movie or in real life where I don't love a dog for what it's doing. So I loved Krypto and I didn't think it was overused as much people say. He does contribute, now that we're in spoilers, he contributes to a lot of the downfalls of this movie where he's just another fucking guy or whatever that has to save Superman, because that's all Superman's doing in this movie is getting saved by other fucking things or people or whatever.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I mean, sometimes I equated his scenes, like I don't mind his screen time. I just wish that maybe he could have had his own little mini arc, like, you know.
Yeah.
Good supporting characters usually can have a good mini arc within a film, even if they're not like the main crew, right? Or the main character.
Yeah, like maybe Superman's trying to teach him not to piss on the crystals. And exactly. Go piss in your super bed. And then like by the end, Krypto's like, see, look, I could piss. Well, I don't know why he'd piss in his bed.
In some cases, he kind of reminded me of the goats from Thor: Love and Thunder. It's like,
oh no, that was way more obnoxious, Mark. Come on. Okay, I'll give you that. All right. Agree to disagree.
Just a little bit. So anyway,
those goats were so excruciating after the first. There's one goat joke, and then it's the whole fucking yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
No, but then of course, you know, for our continued opening scene, they drag into the Fortress of Solitude, and then we get introduced to the robots, which they have existed, I believe, in previous Superman comics. But I think this is the first time I've ever seen them, like both on TV or the big screen, right? Because I not being such a huge DC Comics guy, I didn't even know they existed. But I'm like, oh, cool, okay, so this is something that does exist that he pulled from, you know, different canon that's available, and then
to my knowledge, I never read any Superman comics with the robots, but to my knowledge, from what I've heard, they're all the Superman robots look like Superman / Clark Kent. So if he has to be in the same place at the same time, he can use one of them. And I think it's in a lot of the cartoon where there's a robot that's like in a romantic situation with Lois and it doesn't know what to do. And so I know that there was like robots meant to look like Superman, but these ones that are just like kind of goofy looking Wall-E looking things, I'd never seen
that. They're all wearing capes for some reason.
Yeah.
Wearing a cape.
Krypto was wearing a cape for some reason. Superman was wearing a cape for some reason. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I did the way the movie starts out with like line after line after line of text. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, James. Like, this is how lazy you're starting your movie with text. Like, why don't you just show us a scene of him fucking some villain up that you're never going to use in one of your movies, but who's a well-known rogues gallery character? Show that he's confident, have Metropolis cheer for him, and then just give us a scene where he gets his ass kicked. Like, why are you telling us this? Well, I don't understand that reasoning behind Superman has never lost a fight. 3 minutes ago, he lost a fight. What? Like, it's just so weird.
Well, it's also like if it's supposed to be such a big deal that he's never like intervened in an international situation like that before, but maybe start with that. Like you begin with this random war going on. You hear all the the different commentators talking about it, and none of them are even tabling the idea that Superman would show up. So that when he does, it's like, holy shit, Superman's here, and that you can really feel the intensity of that. Instead, it's like, oh, this happened and then that happened. Oh, but since then he's gone back to Metropolis and got his ass kicked by this robot, and now he's back. It's
Show him doing something heroic before he gets his ass kicked and falls down in front of.
It sounds like the better organic opening would have been him stopping that war.
Yeah.
And then we could have then actually seen the fight. And that's the thing too, because we did see him going back to fight the Hammer again. This way we could have actually seen what the first round looked like.
And that's actually where I think it would have been better also to have the kid raising the flag, have that be at the beginning. Like Superman's watching the war on TV or whatever, the Daily Planet, and he sees that, and it's like, maybe I should be there, and have him actually show up there. But they really shit the bed.
Well, they can't do that because Clark is never at the fucking Daily Planet in this movie, except for the opening scene.
Well, that's what makes me laugh too, because I did notice how, like, towards the end of the movie, you've got that whole Daily Planet crew doing their thing and trying to.
That was a great scene.
It was, but at no point does anyone ask, "Hey, where's Clark? Isn't he supposed to be part of this?"
No, the whole movie, Mark. Like, where's Clark? Like, we have Jimmy, we have Perry. Where's the other guy?
Yeah, no one says a thing.
Where's he been for 6 days?
They even had what's her name, Kat, in there too briefly. From Daily Planet, and it's like, but Clark, afterthought.
Let's see. Old Man Bird says, I thought there was going to be Neo in the Matrix moment where he just started doing incredible stuff. So did I. Like, I guess they considered the fact that he jumps up and spins and does his eye raise, but to me that's 5 seconds, and there's no standout moment of him just being a badass where the music rises, and because even Brandon Routh one, even Return has a couple of those where he's just, in that movie he's saving people. They're not concentrating so much on worldwide destruction, even though that movie does get pretty ridiculous too. But Superman movies are supposed to be ridiculous. So hey, Lemon Pie, good to see you. Quarter Maltese, that's the small country they go to in Suicide Squad. And I know it's been in DC stuff forever, but I know it's mentioned in '89 Batman, that Vicky Vale shot a bunch of stuff at the Quarter Maltese. But yeah, so Superman gets his ass kicked at the beginning of the movie by, what do they call him? Like the Russian hammer, or the
hammer
yeah. So this thing looks ridiculous, but it's Superman. It looks more like the animated series. So you're like, okay, fine. And then you find out it's just like Ultraman in a suit, and it's kind of a hoax because Lex is trying to keep fueling the fire of that war, right? Something like that, right, Kat? Yeah.
He wants it to happen so that he can do one of his typical get more land things that he's always known for in these stories, right? Like a land baron kind of scenario.
But the way he's introduced in this movie, like I said earlier, it feels like you're jumping into season 3, episode 5 of the animated series. There's Lex Luthor, and he's got his gamers, like, G5, like, oh God.
That was so really odd too, that it took so many people to do what they did. Like, they're basically like comboing him in a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, what's the lag time on that? You have to tell somebody, then they have to click it, then it has to happen. And when you find out who Ultraman is, couldn't he just have done that?
You would think, especially later, he claimed he was supposed to be stronger and faster than Superman.
For everybody, if you don't know, Ultraman is Batman.
But apparently he's also a lot dumber than Superman, remember?
Yeah, no, I know, but he's strength-wise, it's like, I don't know. And I get it. I don't, because it doesn't make any sense, and they don't get it either. But so then I guess the next scene we get is the only scene in the movie where Clark Kent shows up to the Daily Planet, and you meet Jimmy Olsen, and you meet Lois, and you meet Tits McGee, or whatever her name is. The chick that they just have her boobs popping out the whole movie, and I don't even know if she has a name.
Yeah, her name's Kat something. I
Oh,
can't
that's
remember.
Kat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember her
And then
last
you
name.
meet Perry in one of, I think, 5 or 6 lines of dialogue he gets in this movie. You get that guy from The Wire, and you don't give him anything to do.
Yeah. And then apparently he gave an interview where James Gunn gave him this whole backstory for Perry, which isn't even in the movie.
Nothing's in the movie for him.
It's like,
Oh man.
Backstory, he doesn't even have a front story.
you know what the backstory is? Apparently, Perry hates Lex Luthor because Lex had an affair with Perry's wife, and he doesn't know if his second son is his or Lex's. And I'm like, why would you even write that?
And there's nothing in the movie that would
Nothing.
suggest that is something.
Nothing. It's just,
Oh my lord. Maybe it's a good thing.
James Gunn is a knucklehead. I love him, but he's a knucklehead. But so then you get that scene, and they give you a little information about the war between Huge Kakistan and Smoke Tuvia, or whatever the fuck those places are called.
Baravia and Jarnapur,
Yeah, that's it. That's what I meant.
which
And
are
then-
totally not stand-ins for Russia and Ukraine.
No, not at all. Why would you think that?
The casting
But,
of the guy that
then-
played the president/dictator of that one country.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that guy was
Fit,
so
like,
over the top.
and no shade to the actor, but I'm like, this wasn't your role, my man. Like, you don't look like anybody that'd be able to command an entire country.
Well, no, and not to mention how he's written. Like,
Yeah.
it's just random James Gunn dialogue where, like, Lex Luthor gives him a donut, and he's like, this is from that place that I told you about. And he's like, ooh, this donut's good. He's like, you see, I told you. It's like, what the fuck are we doing in this movie? Like, and during that conversation, by the way, they're in a pocket universe that just shows up, and you're kind of expected to. I feel like normies' heads are gonna fucking explode when they watch this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, I guess I'm not a normie by any stretch of the means, but at the same time, I was
Not
like,
at all.
I'm like, what the hell is this pocket universe shit? Like, maybe this kind of stuff exists in the comics, and he drew from that, right? But I'm sitting there thinking, like Lex doing pocket universe stuff. Like, is this even necessary to have here?
In
like,
the first movie?
Yeah.
In the first movie, remember Iron Man? It was just a guy, and then he fought another guy, and they just had mech suits. That's all. And then it built, and it became insane. But Old Man Bird, my shirt says Cat Dad.
Hello, folks.
And that's for my girl Cookie right there, right behind me. And Mark needs to get a Cat Uncle shirt. Yeah.
The other thing weird that doesn't work about Lex having a pocket universe is that since he feels inferior to Superman, like that's his inferiority complex, right? It's like, dude, you created a pocket universe, and you're using it as your own pseudo Phantom Zone to get rid of people you don't like and do all this extra stuff.
Yes.
Why do you still? You're practically a metahuman onto your own for being able to invent all that stuff. Why do you still feel?
There's almost no moment in this movie where Lex Luthor couldn't have killed Superman, or taken him hostage, or at least gained the upper hand. Yeah, you're right, Kat. Why does he feel inferior? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but they don't explore it enough. And again, Nicholas Hoult, great, good casting, looks the part. I like the take he does on it, but that's maybe because the last time we saw Lex Luthor, it was Jesse Eisenberg. But I still think he does a good job, and I really like him as an actor. I think he's good. I wouldn't be pissed if he was Bond, but then I'm not the biggest Bond fan either. He might be too boyish for Bond. I don't know, but
like maybe too small in stature to really pull it off.
He's a pretty big guy. He just has a baby. He just has a baby face.
Okay.
You know.
I just couldn't tell, like in the film, that he seemed like he was more on the smaller stature side to me. At least just the way his presence was with the other characters.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. Miss Tessmacher is in this movie, which is great. Last time we saw Miss Tessmacher is played by Parker Posey. This time it is is she supposed to be an influencer, or does she just take a lot of selfies? I couldn't tell.
Selfies.
Yeah, she just takes selfies. She's a fun character. I like the way she's written in this movie, and I think it's really funny that she just has this massive stalker crush on Jimmy Olsen. A lot of people are like, I don't like the Jimmy Olsen thing. I love it because it's different. It's funny.
Yeah, Jimmy the Rizzler in this movie, apparently.
And it's funny. It's like, because he's perfect casting. He's such an odd looking guy. He was in 2015's Vacation. Then he was in the Santa Clarita Diet. He like fits that role
Licorice Pizza.
perfectly. And then the fact that they kind of threw in this like weird little twist that like chicks dig him and he doesn't really know why. I thought was kind of funny. And
I didn't buy
they gave
for-
him a little bit to do in this movie, which is nice.
Yeah.
They never give Jimmy shit to do.
But tying into the ladies, you know, wanting a piece of the action, which I'm fine with that, right? But at the same time, I couldn't really understand why the one gal, what was the character's name again?
Miss Tessmacher?
Yeah. What was the character's name that was Luther's girlfriend? That
Eve Tessmacher.
Miss
okay,
Tessmacher,
yeah, Eve, right? Eve, right? Okay.
Yeah.
She was so interested in him. It's like, did they have history? Because I couldn't catch in the movie if they had history or not. And then,
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think they went out or something a few times, and he gave her the high hard one, and she couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
So-
and she's like, the hell with Luther. I'm going back to Jim.
I didn't buy for a second that this version of Lex Luthor would have Eve Tessmacher as a girlfriend.
yeah, it didn't make, they barely even have any dialogue exchanges, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't think he would even want to be seen in public associating with somebody like Eve Tessmacher.
But then it looks like Gunn made him have a type, right? Because in that pocket zone, all the other girlfriends that were locked up looked like they were all blondes too. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Lex got a type.
Well,
And-
there's blondes, but she's like an
Yeah.
exceptionally dumb,
Yeah.
goofy blonde.
but that also ties into the inconsistency.
I heard a funny ass joke that the.
But I
No, go
always
ahead. Sorry, Mark.
I always thought it was a strange thing too, because you're trying to portray Luther as he's supposed to be very brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And yet his girlfriend is the one who becomes the downfall of him, because for whatever reason he's allowing her to take selfies all over the place that includes just all this information that happens to be in the background of the camera phone. To
Well, I'll say one thing: he does not come off as a genius in this movie at all.
No.
He comes off as kind of an idiot. but you're right. He's supposed to be an idiot. I heard a funny thing online that the all the people stuck in the pocket dimension are all the people on Epstein's client list. I thought that was pretty funny.
I mean, honestly, if that technology did exist, I wouldn't be surprised. He wouldn't do that way up in the the chain.
So then, okay, so the movie moves fast. I mean, this movie is so manically paced to its detriment. It's not a good thing. A lot of times I like that in movies. It depends on the story you're trying to tell. Remember, Iron Man was, I keep going back to it because it breathed. It was so well paced. It was never slow. It was always interesting, but it took its time. You didn't even see a glimpse of an Iron Man suit for almost an hour into the movie. Well, except for the Mark I where he breaks out of the, you know what I mean? But it's just so well done. And again, it's covering the same type of like time. It's like starts out and then it goes back in time and then it goes to him the day before. And then it gives you that, 10, 15 minutes of him in the cave. And then from there, you get all the rest of the characters kind of get reintroduced or introduced. It's so perfectly paced. And I was like, what is it? How much blow is James Gunn on making this movie? Like, it's so like, well, we got to go to the next thing. Well, should we do that? No. We got to go to the next thing. We got to go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it felt so like, and again, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun because I was giddy the whole time, like mostly laughing at it, but sometimes laughing with it, But yeah, but you guys agree with me? Like it's so the editing. It's like this is supposed to be a 3-hour movie. We don't want to cut out any storylines, but we have to chop it down to an hour and 55. So we just have to make every story like super fast,
Well, the comparison I heard was saying like this was made for Zoomers or the TikTok generation.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've heard that before too. Yeah, I've heard somebody say that as well. Yeah, this is Superman TikTok generate. Yeah, absolutely. They should have leaned into that more. They should. I mean, they did a little bit, but which is in the next scene we'll talk about where Superman / Clark Kent and Lois, you find out they're dating for 3 months and you feel kind of robbed because you're like, well, how did they fall in love? Why did they fall in love? Did he save her? Did he charm her? Both? We don't know. we don't really know the dynamic of the relationship at all, except for the fact that she is dying to drill him in an interview, and she does just that, and he comes off as a as a little baby, you know. So
And the
you
fact
guys,
that they're at this point in the relationship where she already knows he's Superman.
yeah, I know, and it's like, when did he tell her? Why did he tell her? Like, I don't know. To me, those things, I get it. Like, Gunn wanted to gloss over all that, but it's like, you don't have to go so far into the world that he, you know, like a regular person walking in has no idea. Like, you don't have to show him like crash landing on the farm and learning from the Kents and all that shit, but you're bypassing so many details, you know, that you just expect people to know already.
Well, I mean, I think that was probably just a choice on purpose, right? Purposeful choice, because
yeah, definitely, yeah,
because he thought like, well, how many times have we've already seen them get together in various mediums? I'm gonna assume the audience just knows.
Yeah, but when's the last time we saw that? Like, because Man of Steel barely does it, and then Superman Returns doesn't do it at all. Like, it's basically like the Adventures of Lois and Clark with Dean Cain is the last time you saw Superman.
There was the other recent one, Ben, the one with Tyler Cohen and
yeah, but they were already, him and Lois were already together in that one.
Yeah, but we did actually see, like, we were at some point actually shown all the bits and pieces that brought them together.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Flashback at the beginning, but flashbacks were showing like the full.
I liked that show. I liked that show, and I thought he was quite good as Superman. By the way, you know.
Oh, he definitely was. Yeah. So maybe they thought, like, do we need to keep covering? Like, do we need to keep retreading some of these like story beats that have been presented? You know,
I know, I get that, but sometimes you have to have a little context, a little backstory. Like, I understand what you're saying, Mark, but the way he thrusts you into just kind of expecting you to already, it's like an algebra math teacher. It's like, hey, you're already supposed to know A, B, and C, so I'm just going to teach you D and E. It's like, no. I need to start from the beginning, you know, like sometimes, you know, even if brief. But
yeah, it felt a lot like a sequel in that way, because these are different versions of the characters too. So you should kind of get some of that.
Yeah, especially since you got the hints that he was more head over heels for her than her for him as well. Because she was still being very reluctant at certain, you know, the relationship at the beginning as well.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, not necessarily the conversation they have, but when Clark Kent walks into Lois Lane's apartment, or when she walks into her apartment and he's cooking her breakfast for dinner, I like that little detail. I thought that was cute, and it kind of reminded me of the Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher show, where it was very episodic, but they kind of lived this normal life in that show, because that show was called Lois and Clark, and they've said a million times that the show was about Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Superman was the side character, and well, obviously for budget reasons, but also it was a very unique take. So I liked that moment, and I liked their kiss, and I liked their chemistry. Thank you, Mark. And then we get into this like long scene, which I kind of liked some of it. You know what scene I'm talking about, Kat? The interview.
Yeah, the interview. Yeah,
get us started on that. Get us started on that. Tell me what you think of that.
I think he's losing his temper too quickly. It's like he would just be very calmly telling her, "Well, no, I did it. I wasn't representing myself. I did this just because." You know, it's like it's a very simple black and white issue thing for him. People were going to die. And she just keeps hammering on all the politics of it. But he's getting frustrated and losing his cool really fast. And then when he gets up to leave, she says, "Oh, you do this all the time. Like, anytime we have any type of oh, you can't stand it. You have to leave." Showing that he's very immature. And it's like, okay, you can have a Superman who's somewhat emotionally immature, but then have a character arc where he gains emotional maturity, and he doesn't really have that, because there's no real character arcs in this movie or character journeys. It's kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon in that way, or like they said, an episode in the animated series where it's just, you know, the characters and fun stuff happens. And it just kind of, I was like, okay, and I didn't really care for Lois that much. It's like, okay, she has such a problem with what he's doing, but she's still going to date the guy anyway. I kind of felt she was used more or less as a plot device in the movie rather than.
Well,
Jimmy's the one who gets to get the big scoop at the Daily Planet for the big story. Like, she's just kind of there to help move certain things along. I didn't feel she was a big character in that way. Like, Mr. Terrific does a lot more on her behalf than she does.
oh, well, we'll get into Mr. Terrific. To me, it was his movie. Superman was just in it. But no, I like what you said, because like Lois Lane, it's like, to me, the way the character's portrayed in that interview scene is like she's been dying to do this. Like, she almost feels like she needs to put not Clark, but Superman in his place. And she's not enjoying it, but definitely demonstrating sort of a dynamic of like power. Because again, Superman comes off as kind of a boy in this movie. And that scene kind of establishes that. And it could have been a really interesting take. Again, like Mark and Kat, both you guys said, we all said, if the movie started out with that conflict in Huge Kakistan, that would have been, and you could have Superman just fucking shit up and throwing tanks around or whatever, and everyone's cheering him on. But then he comes back and he gets his ass kicked, but then he pays the consequences for that intervention, and then that conversation would have held so much weight. But again, Gunn just expects us to understand that's what happened. Fuck it. We don't need to see it. They're going to have this big, like, ideological conversation about something we didn't even see, and then throw in jokes every once in a while where he's like, well, I took the world leader and I may have pushed him into a cactus or two. It's like, Gunn, stop. Like, stop smoking weed. Like, just write the dialogue. Have it, give it weight, because I get the idea of the weight's just not there. And then again, the movie, not only does it not really address it again, it kind of fucks it off. And he's like, oh, I called in some friends who aren't really my friends to handle this situation and do the exact same thing I did. So it's kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm losing my mind. What's that?
Superman tortures people,
Yeah, he tortures people. Yeah, but so that scene, I really liked it in concept, and I thought it was acted really well. It doesn't hold any weight because we don't see the event it's talking about, and it's not really a big part of the movie, I guess. Because what takes precedent in this movie, actually, before we get to that, let me see, catch up a little bit here on, yes, old member, Terry Hatcher, showing Terry Hatcher. She is possibly my favorite Lois Lane. She also had the most time with the character, too. She had 5 seasons, but she's great. Terry Hatcher is my Lois. Yes, Scotty. Yes. Lemon pie, Terry Hatcher. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. Yeah, exactly. See, we're all on the same page here. Terry Hatcher. A lot of people say Margot Kidder. Fine, and not. She's fine. She played the character well, but I don't know. I just don't see Superman, Christopher Reeve, like going after her. I don't know why. I'm not being superficial. I'm just saying. Anyway, so now we go to
can I add
this scene drives me fucking. Oh, please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think one of the symptoms of him acting the way he is, because I agree with both the way you both said in regards to, like, he's losing his cool too quickly, which is very un-Superman like. And then I read somewhere that this version of Superman Clark is also supposed to be 25. So he's actually being a bit younger than we've seen as far as some of the previous movie versions, right? So maybe that's a little bit of it. So he's got some, maturing to do. But yeah, I agree. Superman's never supposed to be holding up someone to a damn cactus. And, just losing his temper like we've seen, not just in this scene, but several scenes in the movie. Just he's supposed to be more on the stoic side of things. And even then, I read somewhere where the guy, David himself said his inspiration was that he's supposed to be this calm, but he was trying to play the character to be calm and authoritative. But I'm like, where was the calm part then?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I wasn't in that.
He's a very, very fun Superman. I'll give him that. Like, I really liked him because he was bubbly and fun, and he had a really strong heart. But it was all as the mind of a child, though. If you remember, like, Christopher Reeve, like when he was being interviewed by Lois and she second guessed something he said, he goes, "Lois, I never lie." You know, his stoicism would put people in check immediately because he spoke with such conviction, and the look on his face and his mannerisms and the way he stood up. This guy doesn't do that. And I'm not blaming the actor. I think they were still, again, I think a lot of this would be sorted out if this was year 1 instead of year 3. Instead, like, because, and again, Mark, at the beginning it says he's 30 because it said 30 years ago he crashed. So he's supposed to be 30.
Well, interesting that the actor happened to say 25. So
whoops. No, but remember, everything was in 3s on the.
Yeah, you're right. 3s.
30. Well, and then here's the dumbest thing that they did. 300 years ago, we got superpowered people. So why is Superman special at all in this movie? He's not. He's not really.
Well, but I mean, as far as the DCU, I mean, there is truth to it, right? Because like Wonder Woman's been around a lot longer, I think, than both of them. And
but I mean, like known to the world, like you know, Wonder Woman wasn't known to the world, you know, right away. But okay, well, given that, it's fine. I don't want to get into that because that's the route that James Gunn's going. Yeah. But
the only thing I ever want to add to that scene is I did like how he did the voice change. I wish they could have played into that better for that whole interview. Because you know how when they were ready to start talking, he just goes right into his, like, there's a distinct Superman voice and a distinct Clark voice.
That's what Christopher Reeve did so good.
Yeah, and David was doing a good job too. I wish they could have just let him play into it more, like overall and in that scene.
I agree. Hey, we got double digits, 12 people watching. Thank you so much, everybody. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're here all week. But let's get into, so now we move from that conversation over to Lex Luthor and the Engineer and Ultraman found a piece of hair, which I guess is that easy to find if Superman's. If you remember, Superman used to use his hair to make ropes that would literally fling things into outer space. That's how strong his hair was. So the fact that his hair is just like falling out is kind of weird, but okay, they found a piece of his hair, and that's how they get into the Fortress of Solitude. I love the way the Fortress of Solitude looks on the outside in this movie. I think it's really cool. I think it's very uninspired on the inside. They don't really show you much. It's just an ice cave, but the outside I thought looked great. But yeah, this is where you get the introduction to yet more people. The Engineer, who is way overpowered in this movie from what I've read. She's really like, I mean, she basically can fuck up Superman in this movie, but who can't? So, but what did you guys think of that? Like breaking into the Fortress of Solitude, gathering that information, you know, Kat, you go.
Well, again, it's a thing where Lex feels so inferior and offended by Superman, but dude, you literally created something stronger than Superman standing right here, and yet you're still triggered by Superman. It's like it didn't make sense. I mean, Nicholas Hoult did a good job at playing Lex as a really unhinged individual. And it's like, okay, I bought that. Whereas Gene Hackman's Luthor, yeah, he says arrogant things like, oh, I'm the best criminal mastermind, but you don't really feel it. Like with Nicholas's Lex, I really feel it, but it's still, you have those contradictions where it's like, you literally created a Superman clone like that. You created a pocket universe like that. You've not only created that pocket universe, you've hidden all these different portals around the world. Like, remember the president of that country has one hidden in the wall in his office. Like, how did that happen? And now they
just have him covered in tents. Yeah, they're just intense.
The Engineer who can, with nanites, just literally do anything. And it's like, why are you even wasting your time with Super? So it doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense.
And then that whole scene where Nicholas Hoult is walking through the fortress and they're like beating up the Superman robots. You could tell that like that was all added in post because he's just walking and these robots are flying past him and it just looks really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look real. And the fact that Superman's robots can't get the whole message, but the Engineer can in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, the robots that are from Krypton.
That are from Krypton are designed to work in
to help Superman.
I didn't get the vibe there. I didn't get the vibe they were deliberately obscuring the message or anything like that. You know, it's like they can't figure it out, but the Engineer, no problem. So
At least that would have been more believable, right? Than maybe for somehow choosing to hide that message, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I agree with the whole, like, how did she just come in and so easily just hack the computer? If it's, you know, especially considering it's alien technology. And
Well, her power just got more and more ridiculous as the movie went with the nanobots. It's so dumb. Like, and the CGI was really bad with her. I thought, like, there was some decent CGI. I thought the kaiju looked cool, but when she was shifting, it was just bad. To me, it was just bad.
To me, it probably would have been more believable, like maybe not hacking the computer, but maybe getting that video out of one of the robots and maybe seeing that there's this jarbled, you know, extended bit that they just don't play because, you know, there's nothing there. And then he just takes like basically the whole video file and then starts working on it. Like that would have been more believable to me than just like, get into the computer, baby.
Or how about the traditional archival system of Krypton with crystals?
Yeah.
Like that's what happened in Superman 1 or Superman 2. He
He put the crystal,
crystal. Yeah, he put the crystal in the right thing and it gave him the information he needed. All they would have had to have done is something like that. Instead, they have this like weird supercomputer that doesn't really look too off from just like human computer, but it's supposed to be otherworldly. Yeah, but so they get the information, but in the meantime, they've sent out this like what do you call those things? Remember those things, the little seahorses? You put them in water and they expand or whatever. What were those called? Seahorses? Somebody help me in the chat.
I kind of looked at it like a little. I kind of looked at it as a mini Bowser. That gets
well, that's yeah, it is. When it runs out of the cage, it looks like Bowser.
And where did he get it?
You mean the little kaiju guy?
Yeah.
Well, there's so many questions about that, and people have already beaten to death how did it get so big, but no one saw it until it was time to fight it.
Yeah,
because it had to have been getting gradually bigger.
Well, they mentioned at one point that the last time it was
sea monkeys. Thank you, represent this.
They mentioned the last time it was seen before it got really huge is at a coffee shop where it was 7 feet tall. I'm like, wait, what?
There's some
represent this says I'm feeling like I'm living in Superman for the last 2 months. So happy to see you folks. Hello, Ben and Kat. Nice to meet you, Mark.
Nice to meet you.
Represent this is a fantastic channel. He's doing great work. He's actually doing Superman, the retrospective. I think he's doing his final part on Friday. So everybody check that out. I'll put the link later. Ben Cinema Gulp. That is my last name. We're laughing at your jokes. Sorry you can't get the direct feedback, but we're enjoying the show. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but I hope it's true. Anyway, so the kaiju fight was kind of a highlight at the beginning for me because you're like, oh, Superman's gonna like show off his Superman stuff and like fuck this thing up. And the way we've seen him be portrayed so far, he's probably gonna try to save it or just knock it out.
Which he does.
But no, the fucking Suicide Squad show up or whatever the fuck, and they blow up its insides. So Superman doesn't do shit. And they give you this like trailer moment where he's like, hey buddy, eyes up here to the kaiju, but then he flies up and then the scene just goes nowhere. It's like, well, what were we supposed to get out of that scene? I thought that was going to be a scene where he flies up and then comes down and just knocks the thing out, but it never happens. Well,
we do
that's kind of a pussy in this movie.
We do see him save a squirrel, though.
We did see him save a squirrel and a few women. Yeah. I liked the squirrel scene, actually. I thought that was fun. Yeah. But
actually, Ben, as a joke, the eyes up here thing, the only thing I've seen good come out of that little clip was it got turned into a meme where like people were checking out how hot the new Lois was and in a nice revealing outfit. So then somebody played the thing like eyes up here.
Oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, that's kind of right there for you. But yeah, so Mr. Terrific ends up fucking up the kaiju. And they do establish in that scene that, you know, this world Superman has X-ray vision. So you're like, okay, cool. Maybe he'll use it when it's needed later in the movie, like when he's trying to figure out who Ultraman is. Nope, he doesn't do that.
Well, I assume with all the info Lex has on Superman, that armor could have also been made out of lead. He can't see through lead.
They never say it's made out of lead, though.
I mean, that's the only assumption I can give that would make
I
sense.
don't. Yeah, well, this movie doesn't even tell you if they've established that anybody knows about lead yet. About Superman. Hey, Cyrus Blackwood says there's a new Superman movie. He lives in Colorado. They don't have movie theaters out there. So, yeah. Yes, thank you. Represent this. Sea monkeys is what I meant. That's what I thought the kaiju felt like. They let it out of the cage. It's all small, and then it gets big. Anyway, but yeah, so that fight was fun. What do you guys think of the Justice Gang?
I mean, I don't like. Again, there's no like. What is Mr. Terrific exactly? Is he just smart? Is that what?
I think he's just a man who's kind of a badass and has mad tech skills or something.
Yeah, but that seemed like kind of an obscure character. I mean, it's not like, okay, Green Lanterns, we get it. Hawk Girl, I don't know. She screeches like a bird. But again, I'm like, okay, Mr. Terrific, he's a cool character, but who is he and why is he like what? I don't know. I guess we're just supposed to roll with it. And Guy Gardner, yeah, he's kind of a dick in the comics, so I guess that tracks. But they kind of show.
I love Nathan Fillion in this movie, though.
But they're the ones who repeatedly show up and save the day in this movie a lot more than Superman does.
Yep.
No, that's the whole point. Like, that's the weirdest thing script wise is that Superman, like you said, Kat, he's inconsequential to his own movie. Very similar to how Doctor Strange was in Multiverse of Madness. Like, he's not even at the main climax of the movie,
I mean, that was our criticism of Black Panther too, wasn't it? T'Challa didn't even feel like a main character in his own movie.
Yeah, similar. Except at least T'Challa at the end of the day fights the main bad guy and wins. Like Superman, I guess, fights Ultraman, and that's supposed to be the main villain, but really the main threat is the fact that the world is splitting in half, and Mr. Terrific's taking care of that. So who's the bigger hero? But we're jumping ahead. But so when the kaiju falls and Superman does his thing where he just wants to save people instead of be a badass like he's supposed to be. Then like they're like, okay, Nicholas Holtz is on Fox News or whatever, and he's like Elon Musk in the scene where he's basically like, Superman is on the Epstein list. We found this thing where his parents say that he has to fuck as many chicks as he can.
Kill as many people who stand in his way to take over the world. Again, a character assassination that goes nowhere.
And we're all thinking, okay, this is doctored. It's doctored. It's bullshit. But it's not. Like, the movie never makes it, where that's not a real thing.
And apparently that's the twist and the lore change that I guess is intentional, which a lot of people don't like. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Jor-El and Lara are not supposed to be like that. I mean, it might have existed in like one alternate comic that came out who knows when, but that's not what these characters are normally supposed to be portrayed as.
Well, no, and then it kind of throws its own story out the window when we find out there's Supergirl, his cousin, like she's older than him. She was a teenager when he was born. So wouldn't she know that his parents are pieces of shit? Or I guess when we watch Supergirl, we'll find out. Is she going to try to take over the world? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, and again, it's also a plot convenience. So they just happen to say something that's perfect for Luthor's ends. But also, it's like this kind of, to your point about nothing in the movie having any dramatic weight. It's like, oh, we'll say that Superman was sent here for evil things. And he's like, oh, I've always been upfront about the fact that I'm an alien, but I'm human. But we don't want to spend any time. It's like, if you're going to go into character assassination like that, you have to make it mean something. And it really doesn't. It's kind of this shallow thing that, well, I'm not my parents, so it's okay. It's like, but did you really still have to do that? It's like,
Well, that would have added, what would have added more weight to that is if we got some idea that Clark was on the outs with Ma and Pa Kent or something, or he was kind of ignoring them because he wanted to know more about Jor-El or something like that. Jor-El. But instead, when we finally meet Ma and Pa Kent, they're just loving hillbillies. They love their kid. they're stupid, and they probably have a crack den in the backyard. You know, like
I didn't
when
like
I saw Pa Kent, I was like, where's the garden hose in one hand and the wine cooler in the other? You know, that's what I thought it was going to be. But I still loved their scenes. But there's no conflict between what Clark is thinking. Like, oh, I want to know more about Jor-El. Sorry, Mom, Pa Kent. And then you get that thing at the end. But that's not even. Yeah.
And just I remember the actors playing them said, "Oh, we got did research for Kansas accent." I'm like, no, Ma Kent, that's not a Kansas accent. That's a hick accent. That's a total cartoonishly hick thing that she's doing there. And I'm like, what?
They both sound like Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
They took the stereotype way too far. I mean,
yeah, they did. They
did not need to make them be like that compared to all the other good versions we've had come before. Like
that's James Gunn being, I'm Hollywood, and this is what I think of Hicks. You know,
or people from Kansas, right?
Yeah, which is such a trash thing to do, because the lore is about true American values and like where he lands in the world. But again, the movie does show that without telling it, because he is a good man and he got that from them, because he never learned anything about his Kryptonian parents, you know? So they do show you without telling you that the reason he's such a kind-hearted guy is because of these, like, fat, fucking flaming hot Cheetos eating, hillbillies.
Yeah, but see, that's my least favorite take on the character, because all the other previous versions, he's supposed to be like the two halves of these parents that loved him, and both parents in their own ways. When he still found out about where he came from and who he was, he got solitude. They both instilled those values into him.
Well, remember when the beauty of the 1978 movie was that you get the backstory of him living with the Kents and watching his father die, because no matter how strong he is, no matter how superpowered he is, he can't save somebody from a heart attack. It's just a natural thing that happens in life. And that scene is like devastating to him. And when he finally leaves and goes on his trek to the Arctic and throws that crystal, and the Fortress of Solitude builds, and then he sees his biological dad for the first time, that guy is so like straight-laced and different. It's like, my son, we sent you here to protect and whatever, like make these people better and do your best to protect them, teach them. Yeah, stuff like that. So when Christopher Reeve takes on this part, because he was such a good actor, he took both of those upbringings and mixed them together, and he made this incredible character who's vulnerable but stoic and confident and not bitchy and not moany, So I don't know.
Yeah, it's about being a blend of two heritage, having two different heritages. I can't talk today. But you know what I mean? Coming from like one heritage and another, being a blend of the two. And
Scotty says he loved his parents. He wanted to live up to his heritage. He learns his love. Belongs. I'm guessing belong to the people and not the legend. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh, so I brought up so Mr. Terrific's backstory, origin. He was a brilliant inventor and athlete who used his skills to fight crime after unfulfilled by his successes. The more well-known Mr. Terrific was Michael Holt. I don't think we ever get this guy's name in the movie.
That is his name, according to
that is his name.
Michael Holt.
He's a genius with 14 PhDs who becomes a hero after experiencing personal tragedy. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, he's just a guy. He's just a really smart guy who happens to be a good fighter. I like that. Give him his own fucking movie. I would watch that. I would totally watch that.
Especially because he hit the dry humor really well.
Well, and the guy that played him was the guy that had this really small part in X-Men First Class. He played Darwin, who was the guy who could adapt to anything. But the second that he met the villain just killed him. So apparently he couldn't adapt to everything. Anyway. So where are we? So okay, so now everybody hates Superman. Out of nowhere, everyone just believes this bullshit immediately that he's supposed to create a harem and just have sex with everybody and kill people. Everybody just believes it immediately when it comes out on Fox News. So
I mean,
they throw.
Maybe that was too unrealistic, but in today's world, like when you see like how social media has affected people, I mean, it's not far off the mark.
Yeah, but dude, we don't have a superhero that can blast you into oblivion with his eyes. If you were in that crowd next to him when that showed up on the Megatron, would you throw a can at his head or just run from it? I would fucking run, because I'd be like, okay, we're all gonna die. Like, these people are like, you bastard, you liar. It's like, dude, if he would be Homelandering your ass, if he was that guy.
Yeah.
He would just turn around and shoot you guys with his eyes. Yeah, so that scene was bad. It was dumb.
Well, that's when he goes inside and Green Lantern confronts him. He's like, no, Guy, I don't have a harem. And then when they say, well, the message is real, so where to get it? And that's when he realizes he's got to go back to the fortress, and he finds it all trashed.
Yeah, he finds it all trashed, and Gary the robot is dead.
Crypto's gone.
Crypto's gone. And and then the most out of character Superman moment in anything that's ever existed is he's in his apartment taking off his Superman uniform, and Lois walks in.
No. Before that, he flies to Luthor's office. Remember, he flies through.
Shit. That's right.
He smashes through the building while Luthor makes sure to have that host.
My dog! Yeah.
Yeah, and he makes sure to have the host from the TV show there to freak him out. And of course, he slams the desk aside, and Luthor's just telling Eve, "Get this on film."
Yeah, I love it when he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. You mean the ugly dog with the cape?" That was pretty funny.
Oh, jeez. And then
yeah, you're right. I forgot about that scene. Yeah. Because that's just adding.
We got a
fire that he's crazy.
Twofer for very unsupermanish behavior.
Well, the most out of character thing has got to be the scene I'm talking about coming up, where he's in his apartment taking his boots off. We all saw the photo. It was like the first photo they shared, and we just thought it was kind of like out of context. No, Superman is letting this interdimensional star, whatever the fuck that thing is, like wreak havoc on Metropolis because he thinks that the Suicide Squad can kill it.
Well, apparently it sounded like this was a regular occurrence with that specific type of thing too. And they're like, oh, they got it.
It doesn't matter though. It's Superman. He would ever not go to
Superman would be there in a second. He's sitting there and he's like,
right there outside
and the whole scene is supposed to be dramatic, and it's all undercut by like, you're just like, what the fuck is going on in the background?
No, it's true, because my eyes kept drifting to the back, like watching all the lights and the shit, because you saw them fighting, and it's at night, and just I'm like, if you're trying to have this serious moment with Lois, it's like, get that shit out of the background, please.
No.
And again, where did this come from? How did it just randomly enter and attack Metropolis? It's like, okay.
Pocket universes.
Yeah. It's just, that's just a cat. It's just a thing in this new Gunverse. It's just a thing. Like, that thing could just pop up out of nowhere. Like the kaiju, it's fine. The big star sphere, it's fine. Like, it's just normal. There's nothing special about Superman in this movie because there's so many grander things than him. Like, there's a hawk lady. And there's a guy with a ring from outer space. Like, Superman's like an afterthought. Is he supposed to be the strongest? They never tell us that. Or they never show us that, rather.
I mean, I believe in the DCU, he is supposed to be the most powerful on Earth.
No, he is. But in this movie, he's not.
Yeah.
He's constantly getting saved. So anyway, he tells Lois, like, I'm going to confess so that I can find Crypto, I guess, is his plan.
He's going to turn himself in because he figures he'll take him
in so he can find Crypto. So then he goes to a pocket universe, which is like horrible green screen. Some of it looks okay. Some of it looks like Minecraft. But so yeah, then he, then we get like a scene that's attempting at a serious moment where he gets put in a cell next to Metallo, or not Metallo,
Metamorpho.
I get those two. They kind of have the same power, yeah. Metamorpho, who I love the actor that plays him, the bald guy.
Anthony Kerrigan.
I love that guy, and he's really funny. He's really funny. But they're like, okay, Superman, we're gonna kill your cab driver friend or whatever.
The falafel guy from the beginning of the movie.
Sorry. Whatever. We're gonna kill him if you don't submit whatever, and then they kill him. Right? Am I getting somebody else go? I'm forgetting the sequence of events in this.
So he turns himself in, and they decide to outsource his incarceration to Lex Luthor because Lex has the ability to hold somebody like that. They take him to Fort Kramer on the beach, where you have all these weirdos in khakis and Hawaiian shirts hanging out doing work. And they take him through the portal, and they put him in this like ice cube type prison cell where there's an alien that's driving the vehicle to move it along. And Lex is like, oh yeah, my Hadron Collider replicated the Big Bang and tore a hole in the fabric of reality or something and created another universe. And how he has this prison here that he, other governments will rent cells here for people they deem to be problematic. And rather than having an AI program write all of the Superman hate on social media, for some reason he has a bunch of monkeys doing it, which again, weird goofiness that just doesn't really, it's like, okay. And they throw Superman in a cell, and Lex is like, if it were up to me, I'd kill you right now, but they want some questions answered first. And of course, Metamorpho's son is being held hostage in the cell across. So Metamorpho, who can create kryptonite, is poisoning Superman. And so Lex brings the falafel guy from the beginning of the movie who pulled Superman out of the crater. And he's like, okay, Superman, tell us, who are your allies? Who's helping you? And he's like, look, nobody's helping me. There's nothing here. Don't do this. And
the falafel guy is actually a great character. He says, Superman, don't tell him shit. Don't tell him
he's
shit.
Like, don't tell him shit. And he's like, I don't have anybody, so it doesn't matter. And Lex decides to play Russian roulette, but he kills him on the second gun. He's like, oh, I thought that would.
And it's like,
and then they did a joke out of it where Lex is like, I thought that would have lasted longer. It's like,
yeah, it's like it was a heavy scene, and they throw it out for comedy. You know,
and it's like that's like one of the few moments in the movie where it's like Superman really needed to show up and do something, and he can't.
Well, we also got the nonsense that's the social media monkeys, literal.
Yeah.
Monkeys.
Oh my god, we were fucking. See, that's one of the moments in the movie where I was like, okay, I'm still having fun. Like this movie doesn't give a fuck. It's just bonkers.
You saw like the neuron things or whatever, just putting the monkeys like attached to the monkeys' heads, and they're just.
See, there's little things in this movie where I'm like, okay, I am cool with this movie being like a one-off Superman movie, but not the start of a universe. You know, like that was John's major problem. Like he was like kind of physically upset with this movie because he's like, I really wanted a good start to a new universe. He's like, at this point, I want DC. He goes, I want DC to kick Marvel's ass. But he's like, this movie just isn't it. You know, it's its own kind of thing. And I'm still like, let's see where it goes. See where it goes.
Well, Ben, you know what it feels like? It feels like they're.
But yeah, the whole pocket universe. Yeah.
It feels this movie as a whole feels like they're making all the same mistakes they did the first time around, where they're trying to like jump to like the end versus building it up.
Yeah.
Do you know how they went straight to like the Justice
League? Well, no, at least Man of Steel was a Superman movie with one villain and no other superheroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then
I don't like that movie at all. I think it's joyless. but
then afterwards, you know how they kind of just jumped in because they wanted to catch up to the Avengers. It feels like they're doing that again, like that same sort of mistakes, but then just immediately.
But that's the thing. You definitely don't need to do that anymore because the Avengers, who the fuck are the Avengers anymore? Like now is the time to really take it slow and take your time with it and learn from Favreau and from Whedon on how they kind of interweave things at a nice pace. 4 years of movies, and then you team up a movie, and then you expand after that. Then you get your more obscure shit in there, Then you can get your fucking Martian Manhunter. I would like Martian Manhunter in the first movie, but that's never going to happen, But yeah. But anyway, the pocket universe is a fucking wild place. And when I heard Kat, remember, I think we talked about this one time on the show. We were talking about how like James Gunn said The Flash was like the best comic book movie ever made. And then, so what does he do? He hires the Flash cinematographer. And so I guess he wasn't lying. But man, when you meet Metamorpho's baby in this movie, all I was thinking of was the babies in the microwave in The Flash. Yeah. And it's basically plays out the same. He's got to say Superman again, not doing anything really heroic. Well, I guess he's heroic because he's saving a baby going down a Minecraft river. But what the fuck is this movie doing at that point? We were all just like, what is happening?
Yeah,
again, I was having fun watching it. Josh was hating it. John was hating it. We were all thinking, what the fuck is this? But
that was another thing that kind of threw me, where Metamorpho only decides to help rejuvenate Superman after Lex kills this guy. He's like, I can't believe you just killed that guy. It's like, look at what he's done to everybody in here. What do you mean you're
he's got your son at gunpoint, dude? Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and he finally...
you know what I think it was, though? I think it was he saw a guy like stand up for himself and not bend the knee, and then he got killed for it. But I think that sign of courage from the falafel guy was what really made him turn. Like, that was kind of how I took it.
I think that was also kind of funny because the people who bought the advanced screening tickets through Prime, it was like a charity thing. So money went to charity, and the whole tagline of the charity drive is that anybody could be a hero. You don't have to be Superman to be a hero. And yet the one guy who's anybody standing up to be a hero gets his head blown off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, what are you...
I know.
But that's when the movie has a very random plot point, which is because the plot demanded it, Eve randomly texts Jimmy the fact that Superman's in a pocket universe. And he tells Lois...
she just happens to be taking selfies in front of all this incriminating shit in the background.
He tells Lois, and she decides to go to the Hall of Justice, where I guess they just sit around and don't do anything. And they don't want to help.
Yeah, they just read the paper and eat cereal. And did you notice that set, the exterior and the interior? Lois just drives up to the Hall of Justice. There's no cars in the parking lot. There's no security. There's no anybody to get through. Hey, you need to sign in before. She just drives in, parks anywhere she wants, walks in, and there's the gang of super thugs or whatever they call it. They're all just standing there, and she's like, "Oh, well, I need to talk to you." It's like, "Oh, did you know?" Well, we'll get to it. Did you know he's Clark Kent? Oh God! So this is gonna be one of those things where everybody fucking knows who Superman is in the next movie. But isn't that random? Like, she just drives up to the Hall of Justice and like, that's it. You just walk in, no problem.
I mean, there was probably no thought put into that. It was just like, hey, we need to move on to this next scene.
No, I know, but it's like. It doesn't take long to have her have to be checked to walk in, but again, that's kind of a nitpick, but it is
part of the reason I really didn't like her as Lois Lane, because she doesn't do anything in this movie except be a plot device to make other things happen. Like, again, Mr. Terrific is the one who does everything. She goes, he decides that, you know what, I'm actually going to help you. And so they go to get his pod car thing. They fly to Fort Kramer because apparently he says he puts nanites, like GPS tracking nanites, in everybody's blood.
And fucking everybody.
Yeah, I do that to everybody.
Where everyone's kind of side-eyeing each other, like, that shit inside.
Yeah, so they go to Fort Kramer, and Mr. Terrific just like wrecks shop, which is kind of what Superman should have done when they first brought him there in handcuffs.
There is no scene that Superman does that compares to that scene with Mr. Terrific putting that shield around Lois, fucking people up with his sphere balls. Like, that's the hero scene of the movie.
Yeah, it's cool. And he doesn't really kill any of them, so to speak. Like, they kind of get knocked off. You could tell that some are unconscious or waking up or hurting. And so he uses his little spheres to hack the portal so he can go inside. And then he sends the pods out inside the universe to go find Superman, who has since broken out of his cell thanks to Metamorpho imitating a sun. Because they're in this weird anti-proton Minecraft river, they have to... Metamorpho and Krypto have to save Superman before they get sucked into a black hole.
Everybody has to save Superman.
Well, Superman does save Krypto. He does do that. Because Krypto was... Oh, yeah, he was put in like this fishbowl where images of flying super squirrels are being
That
beamed
was
into his
funny.
head
That
to
was
keep him
funny.
to keep him docile while they study him.
That was genuinely funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
He's
And
just
that
sitting there staring at squirrels.
So and again, it's a big CGI fest of just all the Minecraft stuff in the river, and Superman's still holding the baby. And for plot reasons, it doesn't make sense why Metamorpho can't hold his own son. It's like, no, Superman has to do that for you.
Well, it's because they have Metamorpho like have to splat half of his matter out or something.
I thought it
Which
was cool when he turned into acid and splashed.
Yeah, that was cool. That's cool. Yeah,
that was cool.
Well, I think it's because they all fell into that river, and I guess Superman was the only one with the strength to actually withstand not being torn apart, and then he's holding the kid out of the river.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Why he was able to do that, who knows? Because it was a pocket universe. It wasn't like another planet. You know, he doesn't have any strength down there. There's no sun, but who cares?
And then because of plot armor, they decide that the portal randomly starts like collapsing in on itself with this weird crystal goo growing on it. The longer it
Weird
stays open,
CGI that closes in and stuff.
Yeah. And wasn't
But
it funny?
honestly, I'm shitting on that scene, but I was having a blast watching it for all the wrong reasons. But
did you think it was kind of weird that, like, after they escape the portal, you know, Metamorpho runs off with his kid, Superman and Lois leave, but like Mr. Terrific stays there to work on it, and one of the same people who he like beat up and wrecked shop with earlier in the day comes in to say, "Have you fixed it yet?" I'm like, wait a minute, he like whipped all your guys' asses, and you're like friends now. It's like, I don't get.
I never noticed that. I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
maybe
she
it was
comes in
like
and
a
says
character that had an arc we didn't know about, where they're like, "Oh, I really like Mr. Terrific, and I don't like Lex Luthor."
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, this black lady walks in and she's like, "Have you fixed it yet?" And he's like, "No, that's why you don't create a damn pocket universe." I'm like, "What? Wait a minute! You literally beat all these people up and nearly killed all of them this afternoon, and now they're friends with you."
I don't understand the pocket universe at all, because basically all he did was he put a place that I guess nobody could find, but that's not hard to do in like a cave in Nevada, and you can still build the same, you know, caging cell system of like the same materials. There was nothing, and I liked it, Kat, when you said like they have that guy that like drives the alien that drives the cart. What do they call him? Like Bert or something? It's like. But it reminded me of that scene in Harry Potter where Gringotts, where they go through, and he's like, "Next, please," and like they're the little midget, the little goblin is, driving them through Gringotts. I was like, kind of feels like the same thing, but again, there's just so much like wannabe comedy thrown in. You know, I get wanting to be lighthearted, but man, lighthearted doesn't mean it has to be like quirky funny all the time, you know. Superman 1, 78, very lighthearted, humorous, sure, but anyway.
So then they take Superman back to Kansas to heal, and
and then we get real hillbillies.
Yeah, Lois sees his bedroom and how he is a fan of like punk and weird, pop, that kind of stuff. And
I liked that.
And then when the plot demanded it, Pa Kent finally has a good scene talking to Clark in the morning and saying what he basically needs to hear, and to accentuate the hickness of it, his mom Kent steps out and says, "Not that there's something you need to see on the news or on the TV. Oh, there's something on the box that you should see."
I think the mom is mentally unstable in this movie. And Pa Kent is keeping it together because they can't afford to take her to, fucking Betty Ford or something. She comes across way worse than Pa Kent does.
Yeah.
Pa Kent at least gets to that moment, She's just like, I don't know where I am. She's like knocking into screen doors and shit. I mean, she didn't do that, but it felt like she was doing that,
Well, remember, it barely showed her. It looked like she knew how to use a phone. It was like on the table, and she's like,
"Yeah,
hey,
Clark, how do you use this damn thing?"
Don't be a stranger. It's like, oh my god.
Hey, Richard, this is your dad. We just caught a squirrel out here. We're gonna cook it up.
And he mispronounced like Lois's name too. I forget what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird. Like when you meet them, they're like, they raised this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point you're like, well, where's his accent then? You should be talking
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing Superman is he's subservient to black to accents. But who knows? I thought who's Jay Kent? So it's
Jonathan Kent.
Oh, Jonathan. Sorry, I always call him Paul. Jay Kent actor was Rob Reiner. No, it's not Rob Reiner. Yeah, he looks kind of like Rob Reiner if he got hit over the head with a frying pan. I guess you could say. He metamorphosizes. Yes, he does. 5 years time. Yes. That's the song. James and the Whale. That's the song when Mr. Terrific is kicking everybody's ass. Typical James Gunn thing. You can't use score during an action scene. You got to use a song, and I don't mind that. Even in a Superman movie, I'm fine with that. But so then, where are we at in the story? So now,
Jimmy.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Jimmy gets the meeting. Eve agrees to meet with Jimmy and.
Oh yeah, in the alley.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Luther tortured a dog the other day. He's like, Jesus. And we have to hide in an alley because Luther watches everywhere I go and all the security cameras. And she's like blowing him kisses. And Jimmy pretends he's like, oh, I put him in my pocket to save him for later. Because even in a hypothetical, he can't hypothetically say, because you have to go for the dumb joke. Like when she calls him again and he gives him all the goods on Luther. It says, "Oh,
she's like, we have to spend the weekend together,"
and he actually hesitates. And it's like, I get it; they want to go for some dumb joke, but no, he would realistically say, "Yeah, sure." It's like, give me the information.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that he knows something about her that we don't. That she's an absolute A+ psychopath of a woman, and we just don't know it. Where he's like, "Oh shit! Like, what am I sacrificing for this?" But no, I don't think it's that. But yeah, Jimmy Olsen should have immediately been like, of course. But it was supposed to be funny, and I kind of liked everything with Jimmy in this movie. I thought it worked for me.
And of course, she gets shanghaied to the Pocket Universe prison for sending the selfies.
Yes. And then so now we've kind of already talked about the river of slime and the baby in the microwave, and now we're moving on to they close the Pocket Universe. They go, and then we've gotten to the Pa Kents. So now Superman is eating a bowl of cereal. He talks to his dad, and Lois is already fucked off in this spaceship that she now knows how to fly perfectly everywhere. That's like her new method of transportation. She just uses it for the rest of the movie everywhere. This big ball. Mr. Terrific doesn't need it because he has an invisible wheelchair that he flies around in and shoots his balls out of. So now I can't remember, where does Superman go next? Superman.
Well, we're at the point in the movie where because Jimmy told Lois about all the photos, she takes the pod thing back to the Daily Planet in New York, or in Metropolis, and that's when the president of Barovia decides to invade Jarnport again. Except this time he's not pretending to liberate them. He says, "I want all the streets to be flowing with Jarpurian blood."
And that's when someone goes, "Hey, where's Kent?" And they all go, "Who?"
Yeah, and Clark goes inside and sees it he sees it on the TV, and we see all the peasants like with shovels and little machetes against the military, and the kids raising. The kids are raising the Superman flag.
Anything, is it?
They're keying you up.
Simultaneously, we got that rift.
And they're keying you up for a classic Superman moment. It's like, okay, this is
that
where
was that gave me chills when the kids put up the flag.
It's like, and then they're going to ruin it by having Guy Gardner show up and make some snarky comment about, well, he's not coming in to give you an upgrade. It's like, what the fuck?
I appreciate his bowl cut, though. Apparently, I heard Nathan Fillion insisted on getting the bowl cut because that was comic accurate.
Yeah, I guess Guy Gardner had the bowl cut initially in the 80s or whatever in the comics, but then they changed it. I love it that he has it. It fits his character great. And when he shows up on Huge Kakistan and like spits out that gum, you're just like, dude, Nathan Fillion is all in on this character.
And then when he was flipping the tanks, it was flipping him like this with the hands.
Yeah. Oh, no, that stuff was great. But it's like Kat was saying, let's go back a little bit. So Kat was saying, like, Everyone's like, Superman, Superman. And we still don't know why, because Superman's just one of many powerful people in this world. But okay, fine. So they all love him. And then they put up the Superman flag, and you're like, fuck, yes, now Superman's going to have this moment. And it never happens. He doesn't even go there.
Yeah, because Lex decides to. He's so upset about Superman having escaped that he needs to get him back to Metropolis as quickly as possible. And the best way to do that is to cause some type of techno mumbo jumbo overload that'll allow the Proton River or whatever to infiltrate Metropolis and start splitting it to pieces. And the funny thing is that when Superman shows up in Metropolis, that's all Lex wanted. So he may as well just close the portal. There's no reason to keep it open at that point. But no, he decides to leave it open, and he's like, nah, we'll let it keep going until it reaches a city I actually care about.
Yeah, and again, that just gave me shades of Superman Returns. Remember when, like, the continent that Lex was creating was breaking a rift into the core or whatever, and again, you have this crack going towards Metropolis. This movie, as goofy as it gets, did not need to. That whole plot point doesn't matter at all in this movie. In fact, they forget about it for a long time.
Well, yeah,
and it's just Mr. Terrific who's like, "Hey guys, I closed the thing, I fixed the thing." You know,
well,
it's just like, okay.
Tells him
thanks.
at some. He actually tells Superman at one point, "I can't hack this. We need Luthor's code." And Superman's like, "I'll get the code." But then the movie forgets about that because Mr. Terrific just walks up to the computer. But and again, like you mentioned, they're pulling from Superman Returns with the Rift. You know, they're also pulling from Quest for Peace with Superman intervening in a war, and the Ultraman or the Nuclear Man thing with the Superman clone. And it's like, why are you pulling from movies that have already been made that people weren't big fans of instead of telling a new story? If we call it the semblance of what's been presented here, a story.
Exactly. I miss the days like where, Superman comes to Earth, shows up, saves people. People are like, holy shit, they're wowed by him. And then Lex Luthor is like, I don't trust this guy. Who is this guy? We got to figure out a way to kill him. What can kill him? And then they find out the kryptonite can kill him. And, then there's just
you don't want to tell that same story again either, though.
No. I'm just saying I miss those days. I don't want to tell the same story, but I like that Lex Luthor is in this movie, which he is not in Man of Steel. I don't think you start Man of Steel with Zod. I think that's way too chaotic. That's one of my big problems with that movie is like Zod should not have been the first person that Superman fights. It should have been one of the last people he fights because he has equal power, But no, what I mean is like the simpler, like maybe start out with Brainiac because we've still never had Brainiac,
Well, Brainiac's also being up there in terms
or like Scotty says, Mr. Mixaplex. I think Scotty said Mr. Mixaplex in here somewhere. That would have been cool. But again, that might be too obscure. I don't know.
Well, Mr. Terrific.
Superman's rogue gallery is not. Well, I mean, like the rogues gallery of Superman is not as recognizable as Batman or Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Just not. Some of them are really silly, so I get why you go to Zod. You always have to go to Lex, but again, Lex never dies. Lex is always just caught and then let out, and then he comes up with a new scheme, and that's great. So I'm glad that Lex was in this movie. But anyway, so now we have like this. Now we're getting towards the end where it's like, so Superman is back there, or he's back around, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna fuck shit up. And he's got the Suicide Squad out there fucking with
the army that's invading the country
or whatever. Yeah. So they're doing that, and then Mr. Terrific is the only guy really capable of doing much of anything heroic at this scene. But you find out that Ultraman is a clone of Superman. And you're like, okay, I think I saw that coming a mile away, or at least a half a mile away. I didn't know who else it was going to be. I mean, did you guys have any? Did you guys think it was going to be a mystery character or just a nobody?
Well, the hint was that's how he got into the fortress because you needed Superman.
Yeah, because they could
activate the door.
Because even when
Right.
when they first walked in the fortress, the robots assumed it had to be Superman because that's how you get in. So it's like, okay, but a lot of the fight scene for Superman's part of the climax is fighting the engineer and Ultraman, and they nearly kill him.
It's
with all the
mostly
knives.
just him getting his ass kicked by
Yeah, he's
Ultraman.
getting his ass kicked by these people, and he finally gets rid of her because she kind of, sort of does or doesn't survive the fall back to Earth, and Ultraman's mask finally comes off, and we see who it is, and even he beats the shit out of Superman, and he only beats him because he tells Krypto, he sees that Lex is using these drones to communicate with, to control.
Yeah, to A1, A1, A1,
Yeah,
A1.
he's like, Krypto, get the toy, and Krypto starts taking out all the robots.
Oh, that was a crowd pleaser for me.
Yeah.
Get the toy, Krypto, and like Krypto runs and gets the ball. I loved that. I did.
And it's during this fight that we find out what the actual plot of the movie is, where Luthor's like, "No, Superman, you overestimate my interest in this country." Where we found out from the Daily Planet scoop that in exchange for helping these people invade this country, he's going to get half the territory so he could be a king. But he's like, "No, I'm not trying to get rid of you so I can take over this country. I created this military conflict as a pretext so your government would let me kill you." And Superman's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you're destroying us." And he's saying that while he's literally voluntarily destroying Metropolis and the world with a massive, unnecessary.
We're all thinking that. Why? You could have killed him 15 fucking times in this movie.
I know.
You know?
And it's like, destroying us, you're destroying Metropolis and the world with this big, like, dimensional rift thing. Like, what are you talking about?
But I do love, I love when Superman, he just completely goes out, throws out his metrosexual vulnerability side, and just like, you know what, I'm just like you, you know, I'm a human. Like, I love those lines where it's like, you know, I wake up every day, I put a foot in front of the other, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I kind of loved that. I wish there was more of that in this. And I really wish it wasn't undercut with a fucking joke, because Superman is saying all this great stuff, which is inspiring. And I actually got a little bit of chills when Corn Sweat was delivering that line. He's just like, you know, because we haven't seen a Superman like this before, where he's like, you know what, I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have. And then as soon as Lex is about to retort, Krypto just grabs him and starts throwing him around the fucking room, and you're like, "Oh, well, I guess we're not going to have a discussion here at all."
No intellectual or philosophical back and forth.
No, James Gunn's like, you know what? Fuck it. That's what people want. Let's just have Krypto fucking Hulk him like he did fucking Loki, and just fucking throw him around. And I'm sorry if Krypto is a Superman level dog is throwing around a regular human like that, that human is dead, completely dead, like broken spine, broken neck, broken legs, broken back.
Well, that was his version of Incredible Hulk throwing around Loki. Granted, James Gunn didn't make that movie. That's basically what he's doing.
It's exactly the same thing, yeah. Except that movie merited it better, because it's like Loki had already said what he needed to say. He was just going to reiterate it again, and Hulk was like, "Fuck you, shut up." You know,
puny god or whatever.
Yeah. Like Loki had already talked to Thor, like, fuck, you know, like, oh, you know, come. Yeah, he was just gonna, "Oh, creature, I am better." But like,
unhinged as Lex
hard out, and then we never get a retort. Sorry.
And as unhinged as Lex is, I don't feel that from any of his other employees who are helping him do all of this.
They're all a bunch of fucking gamers.
Yeah, it's like I made the joke that I know they made this movie last year, but this is like, it's basically like an Elon Musk and Doge thing. That's basically what this is. Like a bunch of dumbasses on a computer, like Big Balls 19 or whatever the hell they are. They were just going to do whatever the master tells them to do because they can't think for themselves. Except for the one guy who was trying to talk sense into Lex, saying, "Lex, we can't." Oh, even the engineer at one point before she takes off to fight Superman, she's like, "No, Lex, this is too dangerous."
The engineer, they left a lot to be desired, because she starts out as like one of the dumbest lines ever. "Oh, I gave up my humanity so I can kill Superman," or whatever. And then like Superman says to her, like, "You don't need to do this. You're better than this." Yeah. And you think that's going somewhere where like maybe she's going to turn or whatever, because you know, she doesn't really have a stake in the game. It would have been interesting, but they never do anything with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I would have thought Superman would have felt bad when he sees that, wow, Lex made a clone of me and this is what he's doing to it. Like he deliberately dumbed it down and is using it as
a lot of
manual
people are
slave.
saying that. Like Superman
Superman
would have tried
would
to
probably-
save him.
Yeah, Superman would pity him and want to save him or put a stop to it. But once he finally throws down Ultraman and they have that striking pose where he looks all serious at him, it's like, you might do that to Lex, but you're not going to be pleased and happy with yourself for, like you would feel bad about Ultraman having to get thrown into the black hole once he realizes what Ultraman actually is,
Well, then like Lex says to him, because they can obviously talk to each other because there's an intercom on fucking Ultraman's suit, and he's like, he has all your brawn, and Superman's like, but he doesn't have the brains or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but why would you give up that information, Lex? Shut the fuck up. Like he knew right there, and he knew. He's like, okay, somebody else is controlling this guy. And granted, it's not really stated if he kills him or not. He just kind of traps him in that other universe or whatever. But I think it's supposed to insinuate
he got sucked into a black hole from the
black hole. Yeah.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
But, Superman's been getting his ass kicked the whole movie. He needed a win.
And conveniently, right when the plot needs it, the Daily Planet story breaks. And, oh my God, the revelation that Lex has been collaborating with the president of this country, who Hawkgirl just murdered outright, which is...
Oh, God, yeah, let's talk about that.
That doesn't seem like something Hawkgirl would do as a member of the Justice Gang, but...
I don't know much about Hawkgirl as a comic book character, but that was just bizarre that she just took a lot of pleasure out of his killing that
you're
guy.
Weak, you won't kill me because you're not because you're like Superman, you're just weak and pathetic. And she's like, haha, I'm not like Superman. And just I'm like, oh my God. It's like I could see if you were like a mercenary metahuman, but she's not really a mercenary. You're part of the Hall of Justice. And it's like the Daily Planet has the evidence. So it's like, okay, you could take him to justice, but no, we're just gonna murder him. And it's like, okay, and so they've murdered him, and then the Daily Planet, of course, breaks the big news story of the day, which is that Lex was collaborating with this guy all along, and of course, immediately the world media decides that, oh well, Superman is forgiven for apparently being sent here to kill all of us, which is funny because they never address, like to your point, Ben, about how they all believe the tape when it says that Superman's here to kill us. Well, that doesn't really change by the end of the movie because Mr. Terrific's the one who saves everybody from the disaster in Metropolis, and the Justice Gang saves the country of Jarnapur. So there's really no reason in the context of the movie for everybody to change their mind and forgive Superman or forget that he's supposedly been sent there to kill them, which they so readily believed, just because they find out that Lex was collaborating to take over this country. It's like those two things aren't related to each other. But because it's the end of the movie and the plot demanded it, everybody's like, "Oh, we forgive you, Superman."
Yeah. There's no like. Remember, like
there's no connective tissue between
the
those
Superman
ideas.
shows, the Superman comics, even the Superman like Christopher Reeve movies. He would stand up at a podium and talk to America or the world and say like, well, we, sorry that this happened. He was very commanding. Like, you don't get that in this. It's just like, okay, Lex is in jail, all is forgiven, but are Superman's parents still wanting him to fuck everybody and kill everybody? It doesn't matter, I guess.
And they rescue everybody from the other dimension. Even the monkeys.
That should have been like, honestly. And let's talk about that. What do you guys think about that twist? Because, I mean, we talked about it really quickly at the beginning once we started spoiling, but I thought it was all leading up to it being a fake. And even though it was a fake, and I thought it would have been cool actually when Kara shows up, when Supergirl shows up, that he's, she does her thing. She's drunk. Where's my dog, bitch? Or whatever. And then he goes, as she's walking away, he goes, my parents wanted me to fuck and kill everybody. And she goes, what? Not that, but then she says what they really say out loud to him. And it's not what we had been led to believe. And she just says it casually because she knows Kryptonian language because she was 17 when she left Krypton.
Right.
So that would have been really cool if, like, he's like, man, my parents want me to fucking kill everybody. They said, and she goes, no, that means love everyone, save everyone. And then and then she throws up or whatever, you know, like that would have been great because then the movie would end. Yeah.
Because if they had made something of the idea, because like one thing Superman says right up front to Lois in the interview is that, yes, I'm an alien. I've always been upfront about that. And now this is his adopted home and all of that. And you can see the inner politics of the movie. And it's like, well, then maybe make something of the moment where you find out that his parents sent him there for other reasons, but they don't do anything with it because they have to undercut everything with either a joke or such a race to move on to the next thing. And so it doesn't really mean anything, but they could have written it to mean something, but the story doesn't really do that. And it almost seems natural for people in this universe or in the universe that the movie takes place in to just naturally assume that Lex had to have made it up, or that because he has this pocket universe jail for people he doesn't like, that maybe he was blackmailing the experts into lying about what it said. Like that seems like that would be the natural assumption that people would make. Certainly there would be conspiracy theorists who are just going to assume that that's the case anyway, but it just didn't track. It's like, it seems so natural that you would find out that Lex lied about Superman to turn everybody against him. It's like that. That's the given thing.
And even if it wasn't acknowledged in the climax or the post-climactic wrap-up, I think the best spot for it would have been, like I just said, the throwaway line when Supergirl is walking out. That's not what they said, dickhead. They said, we love you and we miss you. Treat the Americans good. You know, and he's like, oh shit, that's what they said? Fucking cool, you know, or whatever. But Mark, I want to get to you on this. So when I say the words subversion of expectations for the purpose of subversion, what's the first movie that comes to mind for you?
Last Jedi.
I know you know. You're just drawing a blank.
No, I said Last Jedi. Subversion.
Oh, you said Last Jedi. I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Last Jedi, right? And it did it for the purpose of doing it, not for story purposes. I know Kat disagrees because I think she loves Last Jedi, but that's fine. But that's not what we're
did do it for story reasons, but okay.
Yeah. But so this movie, as it stands, as it ends, why did they do that?
Well, yeah.
Maybe he's got something planned. You know, maybe there's a plan.
No, you have to start and finish your fucking movie in one movie, you know?
No, I agree. But I'm saying maybe this will lead to something, or the way that's still up in the air, like you said, with like your suggestion with Kara, and maybe it could have been fake. They could retcon this, right? They're in a position where they could either just stay the course or they could choose to retcon it afterwards. But I don't know. To me, it's a dumb change. That's not who his parents are supposed to be. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe there'll be a payoff for this if they keep it, or like I said, they could just change their mind and say, "Hey, this looked like this was a majority unpopular opinion. Let's walk that one back."
Yeah, but see, if they do that now, knowing like if it becomes a big like unpopular thing, and they change it, that might be worse than just sticking to your guns and not changing it. You know. Because if they change it, it's going to be like, okay, well, now they're just making these movies based on what the pulse of people are thinking about the decisions.
But that's not always wrong. Like, look at the
No,
Sonic
it's not.
movie.
It's not.
Nobody loved the design of Sonic when that came out, and then look how.
That's different though. That's not a story thing. That's a visual design. You know. That's
okay. Different. Well, you know what another good example is? Last of Us 2, and the fact that they thought it was just the gamer fans who hated the story only. Well, the normies hated it too.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Is Neil had
hey, let's stick to the game because maybe the people that don't play the game will like this. Nope, nobody does.
and they could have taken that like, you know what? That was such extreme negative feedback. Maybe we should change this or tweak it to be different now that we're bringing it to the TV. No, they kept it almost exactly the same. Guess what? Same amount of hate from everybody else.
That's true. And,
because sometimes as a storyteller, you got to get out of your own way. You got to drop the fucking ego and be like, you know what? I thought I did right. I was wrong. Be open to admit that you were wrong.
I understand that, but it's like James Gunn loves to tweet. He loves social media. He blabs and blabs and blabs. So if he finds out, or well, I think he probably already knows that people do not like. And by the way, was that Bradley Cooper that plays Jor-El? I was like, it kind of looks like him, but more like an AI version of him.
It was him.
That was Bradley Cooper?
No, it's him, and that was his voice.
You would take such a big name and just have him have that kind of part.
And I guess the lady was somebody too. I didn't recognize her. But
yeah, somebody else. I can't remember.
Yeah. You know who should have played Jor-El?
Gregory Hines?
Yes. 100%. It's Gregory Hines.
Yeah, we could bring him back from the dead. It's been done before with Peter Cushing. We could do it again.
So the movie ends, and I really like the ending where Superman is like, "Hey, I'm going to give you that interview, Miss Lane," and he's looking around, and then he goes and he just kisses her in the middle of a mall, which a million people could be there, and then Perry White goes, "How long's that been going on?" And Jimmy goes, 3 months, I think. So I'm guessing even they all know that that's Clark Kent. At least that's what it seems like. But
I mean, it's hinted, right? Because again, at no point did they go, "Hey, where the fuck has Clark been this entire time?"
No, the whole movie, Clark Kent's gone. The whole fucking movie.
When he goes over he's in his Superman suit when he says, "Want to interview now?" So I think Larry and Jimmy don't know that Superman is Clark. They haven't. I don't think they've put that together yet. They think that they realize that Lois is dating Superman. I don't think they realize that Superman is Clark though.
Okay, so they don't know that Lois is dating Clark.
Yeah, they think she's dating or a fling with Superman, but they don't think.
But he just shows up at her apartment as Clark.
No, but remember they explain it in when Lois goes to the Hall of Justice, and Guy Gardner says, the glasses, how they hypnotize people.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Right, so they can't. So other people don't recognize that Clark looks exactly like Superman.
That's a thing in the comics too. Yeah.
So
that's also a thing in Lois and Clark.
But does that mean that they keep their relationship a secret at the office? Because that would give like conflicting information. It's like, wait, is she with him or is she with him?
Yeah, I know. That's what I don't understand. Is like, why wouldn't she just be out in the open about dating Clark and not Superman? I don't know. Whatever.
That's probably something that they gloss over.
Well, they only really had one scene together in Daily Planet, so maybe she is open about dating Clark, and they just didn't acknowledge it in that scene.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah. Well, this whole thing deserves. Why do they keep the plastic sound effect in there? Do you guys have? Let's do some closing thoughts. So the movie ends. Superman defeats Ultraman, kills his own clone. Mr. Terrific, the real hero of the movie, closes the butt crack that's gonna destroy Metropolis. Even though half of Metropolis is destroyed in this movie. Let's not forget that. Like when people say, "Oh, Man of Steel," there's so much destruction.
I know.
Man of Steel made it look like you're watching the video from 9/11. So it is much worse and brutal, but this movie has the same amount of destruction.
But here's the thing. I like that about Man of Steel where you feel the gravity of what's happening.
It's
like here,
dark, though. It's like,
right,
yeah.
But here, when you see it, it's like, okay, buildings are falling, but they mentioned they've been evacuating the city. I'm like, well, wait a minute. So many fans complained that Metropolis and so much stuff gets destroyed in Man of Steel. It's like, it gets wasted and destroyed in this movie, too.
In this one, it feels like Sokovia. Or not even as brutal as Sokovia, like where the whole fucking Sokovia lived. No, but you know what I mean, though, Kat? It's like it doesn't
have the gravity of Man.
And it's like super implied, even though it wouldn't be possible that there's no people around. Bullshit. All those buildings, there's no way those buildings were empty that are just dropping over in this movie. Yeah.
Oh, and then the movie ends with
how people weren't even that scared of their lives. Like, remember the clip where it showed like Ultraman as the Hammer like lasering that office building, and people didn't even like run away; they just cowered. But then
they're just standing there. Yeah.
Oh, that was another moment that happens in the climax when Lex calls in the Raptors, which are just regular people in these like exoskeleton like type suits, and Superman uses his heat vision to like wipe them out. But then they have a shot of them on the ground, like all aching and pain, as if they it's like you're not living from heat rays and falling from like.
So I guess he's Cyclops, where he can set the level for how strong his beam is, because it looked like it. You're right, Kat. It looked like it just cut them enough to like stop their flight or whatever. But it would have been so much better if they were actually just robots. And he just spun around and slit them all in half, just make them robots.
I thought it looked like he was actually killing them. And that the reason they have the shot on the ground is to make it clear that not only did they survive the heat vision, but they also survived the 1,000-foot fall to the concrete or the asphalt on the ground.
Yeah, dude, this movie makes no sense. I mean, what are they called? The Raptor? They're in like...
Raptors.
And actually, those are things in the Superman animated series. Lex Luthor does have this big legion of humans that are in super suits to fight Superman. But when you're going to do a shot like that, where Superman is spinning around, finally using his heat vision, finally going to be a badass, and then they just drop and you're like, okay, they're all alive. That's fine. But I think I think it would have been better if they actually were drone robots and he's just like, fuck these things. And he just cuts them all in half. Like the way the Jedis would cut the fucking droids in half in the fucking prequels, like just cutting them like butter. Because that way that you're like, okay, Superman's doing his thing because he knows these aren't people,
And then the other funny thing is that
because people are always going to bitch like, well, Superman tried to kill people. It's like, no.
And another funny thing is that when Supergirl shows up to get Krypto, they're like, oh, that explains it. Like why Krypto's not like housebroken or trained. It's like, well, didn't you already know Supergirl was like that if it's her dog and you're watching it, And then the little end note for the movie is him watching video of Ma and Pa Kent instead of...
Which is cute.
Yeah, that was cute.
Robots changed it.
But I think you still could have had the ending where she said... no, your parents didn't say that. They're actually really great people. But then Clark he finds that out, but then he lets it go and he still realizes, I want to see my adopted parents that raised me on camera, It doesn't have to be, well, one's evil and one's not, But that's the way the movie went. And it ended with Supergirl. I got a couple.
Another major departure is that Pa Kent is still alive at this time. Like he didn't die.
Well,
so I wonder if that's going
to.
He hasn't been dead. He's not dead in every iteration of Superman, but but he is in a lot of them. Yeah. But I think it's important how he died, especially in the 78 one, like we talked about. Like, Superman is just like, fuck, I can't save you. I can't do it. I hated the Man of Steel one where like Kevin Costner's like, no, don't save the dog. I'll jump into the fucking tornado. Even though you could probably go in and out so fast, nobody would even notice.
Yeah.
You can't risk anybody seeing you. That was so fucking lazy and stupid.
They should have just kept to the heart attack.
Yeah. The heart attack's perfect because Superman can't save you from that, So... Unless he can do like some fucking heart palpitations or some shit. I don't know.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of would be like literally grabbing his dad and just 1 second you're at a hospital, just to a hospital. But then you could still have him pass away in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they have their throwaway post-credit tease, which has to be dumb jokes and,
oh my God. I can't believe I stayed till the second one. That was just absolute middle finger for you sticking around and watching that. It reminded me of one of the best post-credit scenes of all time because it was so creative was Spider-Man Homecoming, where you're waiting till the very end of the credits and then it's just Captain America on one of his high school recordings. And he's like, hey, so you waited around for a long time. I bet you wonder if it was worth it. Huh? That was fucking great. So I think I figured out as we come to a close. Hi. Did you hear that, Mark?
I did. I saw it.
She sees Mark on camera. She sees Mark. Mark's the one that actually saved her. Cat.
Really?
He gave her to me. Yeah. He's the hero. He's the hero.
Yeah.
No, that's the real-
So I figured out by the end of this movie, from the 10 seconds that we get of Supergirl, her strength and her weakness. So Supergirl's main power is the power to keg stand on the moon. Supergirl's main kryptonite is the morning after pill. That's all I got. I bet you she definitely saves one or two people from date rape in this movie coming next summer.
Well, the official premise is her going on some type of murderous revenge quest.
I just hope she's drunk, because I saw the poster. I love the poster because, the Superman poster said "look up," and this one says "look out." I'm like, oh, that's clever. That's clever. She's going to be a drunken sorority chick.
Well, the funny inconsistency is she has to go to a non-yellow sun planet to get drunk, right? But if that's supposed to zap all her powers, how does she come back?
Well, yeah, people are talking about that too. Like, why is she still drunk? Well, maybe it takes a while to wear off. Yeah, and maybe it was nighttime. Mark,
if that's kind of how
you ever think of that?
If that's how the Supergirl movie is going to go, I think that would have been the better one for James Gunn to direct.
I agree. I agree.
He could have done a Supergirl movie in that with this characterization of her.
Oh man, I think you could have.
Peacemaker even showed up in this movie for one scene, being interviewed on TV about the revelation of Superman being sent to kill everybody, and you would think Peacemaker would be all triggered by that and wanting to go fight Superman or stop him, and instead he's like, "Oh man, I'm not surprised. These guys are always like that." Blah blah blah. And it's like, why are you here? If just
well, remember, in the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker asked Bloodsport. He's like, "How did you take down Superman?" He goes, "Man, because I got kryptonite bullets." Because remember, Bloodsport put kryptonite or put Superman in the hospital, and he knew that. That would have been fun. But I'm gonna end the poll here, guys. Let's see where we ended with the poll. I love it that there were so many people participated in the poll. So what did you think of Superman? It was super, I liked it, meh, or it was super shit. 18% said it was super, 35% said I liked it, 24% said meh, and 24% said super shit. So people like it, and I'm not surprised. Even we're sitting here just drilling a new asshole tonight, like, because plot holes, plot conveniences, bullshit, stupid decisions. I still thought it was fun, and I could understand why just some lughead would go in there and just like kind of enjoy it. So
well, because I think it's also a symptom of it being the antithesis of what Zack Snyder was doing with the character, and people wanting to go back to that type of fun Superman.
I agree.
Because it's like the amount of 5-star ratings I've been seeing for this movie, I'm like, as a movie, no. So
as a movie, absolutely not. This movie's a disaster, but it's kind of fun. I think you're right, Kat. I think people are like, I just wanted a Superman that was sweet and kind and hopeful,
and feels good, right?
Yeah, and they gave you that. Someone who cared that Metropolis was about to collapse instead of didn't care. Like
the type of Superman who goes out of his way to save a squirrel.
Save a squirrel. Yep. And the reason he doesn't defeat the kaiju is because he's more focused on saving the people that it may kill. Stuff like that's great, because Henry Cavill was just like, he's just like going through buildings. He doesn't give a fuck who's in any of the buildings. Smash, smash, smash. And then when the whole city is rubble and it looks like 9/11, the only thing he wants to do is kiss Lois Lane instead of I need to go save the people that might be still in the buildings. He doesn't do that, so.
And he's more upset about killing Zod than about
than the fact that millions of people died. Yeah, but Henry Cavill looked the part. I think he could have done it really well. They just never they never gave him the platform to do it. I think that's what you were saying, Mark, right? It's
Yeah, like script
could have been great.
He's always done dirty as Superman, done dirty as Geralt of Rivia. I mean,
yeah, dude, yeah, for sure, definitely done dirty in The Witcher. Yeah. Well,
just bad luck. Gets his dream roles, but then bad luck on the fucking script.
well, let's hope Warhammer, man, like he brings that shit home, because I'm excited for that. So
yeah, that maybe that'll be his redemption for.
Well, and now like he's gonna be Highlander, and that's actually happening. So I'm happy that that's happening. I don't like remakes, especially of movies that I love from the 80s. But if they can, Tim Miller from Deadpool, and if he's doing Highlander and Henry Cavill's playing Duncan MacLeod, sign me the fuck up. As long as it's R-rated, which I'm guessing it will be.
Yeah,
you can't really have a movie about cutting people's heads off for sport if it's not R-rated.
It'll only be one.
Break yourself, fool!
Well, I think that's it for us, guys. Any last words? We already gave our scores. We're doing good here. Thank you guys for joining. It's been such a pleasure talking about this movie. I know that I was just beating the shit out of it the whole time, but I will tell you guys, truthfully, out of me, Josh, and John, I'm the only one that walked out of the theater saying that was fucking fun. The reason it was fun was because of everything I brought up tonight. Like, it's a fucking disaster, and I don't know how they're gonna make a universe out of this, but we'll see. We'll see. We got a long time to go before we actually see what a universe looks like. I'm going to be fucking 50 years old by the time this becomes a universe.
The next official canon entry is Peacemaker season 2, starting August 18th.
Right. But I mean, like, as far as like introducing Wonder Woman and Batman and all that stuff, we got a while. Before that,
Yeah, but I kind of don't like it when
Peacemaker.
you basically a supplemental show for something. Like, if you're gonna keep it in the movie, like keep it in the movies, right? So you don't have to like have all this other stuff you got to keep track of just to know characters and storylines.
Well, come on, Mark. You know why James Gunn has to keep Peacemaker in this universe, right? Because his wife is the second lead in the show. He can't tell her to fuck off.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. Casting Sean Gunn for Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, who got 1 second of screen time.
Yeah.
And apparently, Crypto is based off of Gunn's dog too, so we can see where all this ego goes.
Yeah, and I laughed where it's like, oh, we didn't base this Maxwell Lord character on previous iterations. Like, character, it's not a character. It's just your brother saying one line of dialogue as he gets in a car.
It would have been funny if James Gunn's ego was so big. He had Superman with a big silver high cut hair.
Don't give him any ideas, Ben.
Maybe I should. Who knows? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We love y'all. And while we drink your cinema. Good night, everybody.